On 20th August, that is today, Bihar is going to celebrate Sparrow Day because sparrow happens to be the state bird. Actually, the World Sparrow Day is celebrated on March 20th. But since Bihar is celebrating Prithvi Day, therefore it decided to celebrate Sparrow Day on 20th of August. It's fine. My tryst with Sparrow began some 75 years ago when I was a small kid, 4 or 5 years old. I used to be lulled into sleep by my nanny, who used to sing a song, Aao re goraiya baua ko sulao. I didn't know what kind of bird that sparrow was, goraiya was, but a few years later I came to know that goraiya are small birds that feed on food grains. They're small, lovely birds, very chirpy, very smart. My mother and my nanny used to spread food grains on the rooftop and flock in about thousands of sparrows eating upon those grains. It was a lovely sight. It all started then and then suddenly vanished because I was doing schoolwork and I was busy in that. In Gardani Bagh, where I used to live in those days, I used to find our ventilator clogged with nests, sparrow nests. They would come and prepare their nests and breed over there. My mother used to say and tell us that don't disturb them. They are like Lakshmi. They bring wealth and happiness to the family. So I never disturbed them. But I used to watch them bring along straws to build the nests. They were lovely birds, harmless. My second twist with sparrow began, in fact started, when I was called upon to deliver a talk in All India Radio Patna on sparrow. I didn't know much about that bird, so I went to the British Council Library and I picked up a book on sparrow, about 300-400 pages. I went through them and I found some extremely interesting facts about sparrows and I jotted them down and culled those important facts, translated into Hindi, and then of course I delivered a talk. That was very interesting talk. My father was very pleased to see that I have delivered an interesting talk on this particular bird. And I also wrote an article in English and I showed it to him. He edited here and there and asked me to get it typed and send it to a local newspaper where it was published in the Sunday magazine column. It was the Indian Nation. It was in late 60s. I have been observing birds off and on whenever they come and visit me, visit my courtyard, visit railing, they visit my porch. I offer them some sand grains and offer them water, especially during summer. I look after them whenever possible. I don't try to put them in cage. I want to see them fly. I want to see them free in the air. Sometimes some pigeons knock at my kitchen window and they even barge in and they just sit in till I offer them some grains, rice grains and wheat grains. Birds are extremely interesting creature. I've been noticing them. It was my opportunity to meet with some of the top flight ornithologists of the world. When I was in Chapel Hill, I found the laboratory of Helmut Muller, and in that lab I found many species of birds. They were being experimented upon, ducklings and birds of prey, etc. When I used to sit and write a paper on the 5th floor of Wilson Hall, I used to see some birds sit in the nearby tree and I watched them. They actually migratory birds. They would visit on a particular day. That was remarkable that they visited every year on that particular day. It was remarkable. I used to be shown by my senior professors. One of them was Don Costello, who was also an avid ornithologist, a bird watcher. Then I was called upon to write a chapter on birds for class 10 students under Foundation Science by Bharati Bhavan. I wrote a chapter on it, and while writing the chapter, I came across the book of Salim Ali, whom I had seen when I was student of Master of Science in Patna Science College, Patna University. And I met that ornithologist. I was extremely impressed by the manner in which he described some of the antics of birds. He was the one who counted the number of Indian species of birds, and he showed us how to count the number of birds, which are so agile creatures. Anyway, time to time, I had the opportunity to get in touch with birds and see their behavioral characteristics. I chanced upon several books and read about the behavior of birds, and I still am very much interested in that. I'm so happy that Bihar is today celebrating Sparrow Day. I'm very sad to find that the Sparrow Day is being celebrated because the number of a species, that species sparrow, has rapidly declined, and how it has declined. I'm mortified to feel how it has been because of human interference and the loss of habitat. It's a very sad story that the birds that were in great number, and sparrow in particular, used to be in such great numbers that they would flock in thousands by thousands, and now you can't look for them so easily. If you look around, you will hardly find any sparrow, and if you chance upon them, you will find only two or three of them flying around miserably. So sad.